Rare coin collecting. Discover real value and history in every coin.
The 1962 Jefferson nickel, often called the Monticello 5-cent coin, represents the heart of mid-20th century American coinage. Struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, it carried forward the design introduced in 1938 by Felix Schlag, honoring the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, and his home, Monticello. The 1962 issue came at a time when America was entering the space age and modernizing its minting technology, marking it as a product of both tradition and progress. The obverse side of the 1962 nickel displays Jefferson's left-facing portrait. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1962 frame his image. Schlag's design captures Jefferson's thoughtful expression and refined profile, reflecting his vision and leadership in shaping the early republic. The reverse shows the neoclassical architecture of Monticello, surrounded by E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The design conveys strength, balance, and enduring American ideals. In 1962, the Philadelphia Mint produced 97,384,000 nickels, while the Denver Mint struck a much larger number, 280,195,720 pieces. The Denver Mint coins can be identified by a small D mint mark to the right of Monticello on the reverse. Despite high mintages, finding a 1962 nickel with sharp detail and clean surfaces is not easy, as most coins entered heavy circulation. Full steps examples, where all 6 steps on Monticello are visible, are particularly rare and command strong premiums. In circulated condition, the 1962 nickel typically holds a value of 10 to 25 cents. Uncirculated coins range from $1 to $5, depending on luster and strike. However, full steps varieties can reach far higher prices. A 1962 D nickel graded MS66 full steps has sold for over $4,000, while an exceptional Philadelphia issue in MS67 full steps once brought more than $6,000 at auction. Such high-grade coins are scarce because the dies often failed to strike the design completely. The 1962 Jefferson nickel also produced several notable varieties and errors. Collectors search for doubled die reverses, showing clear doubling on Monticello and 5 cents. These can sell for $100 to $300, depending on clarity and grade. Off-center strikes and die breaks from aging equipment are also known, often selling between $50 and $200, depending on the error's visibility. These variations add character and appeal to an already historically rich coin. Like other nickels of the era, the 1962 issue is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with no silver content. Its durable composition ensured long circulation life. The metal's natural tone gives it a muted silver-gray color that deepens with age. When fully struck and preserved, the coin's smooth surfaces and soft metallic sheen make it a beautiful representation of its era. The 1962 nickel reflects a time when the United States stood on the brink of major change. John F. Kennedy was president. The nation was competing in the Cold War, and innovation defined the decade. These nickels circulated through an optimistic America, passing through millions of hands as part of daily life. Holding one today brings you closer to that pivotal moment in American history. Proof versions of the 1962 nickel were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, featuring sharp strikes and mirror-like surfaces for collectors. These proof coins are valued between $5 and $25, but deeply cameoed examples in PR69 condition can reach $200 to $400. Their crisp detail makes them a favorite among Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. Even though the 1962 Jefferson nickel remains affordable for most collectors, its top-quality examples reveal how precise craftsmanship and preservation can elevate an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. Every 1962 nickel tells a story of American craftsmanship, economic stability, and design continuity. Whether it came from the bustling presses of Denver or the traditional halls of Philadelphia, this 5-cent coin captures the look and spirit of an evolving nation. For collectors today, It serves as a small but powerful piece of history that still carries the legacy of Jefferson and the ideals he helped build. The 1910 Lincoln penny marked the second year of the iconic Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was struck at two mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark and San Francisco with an S mint mark. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features Lincoln's detailed bust facing right, while the reverse shows two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, representing strength and prosperity. The 1910 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Weighing 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters, it's part of the wheat penny series that ran until 1958. Around 146 million were struck in Philadelphia and about 6 million in San Francisco. Despite the large mintage, finding a well-preserved example today can be a challenge due to circulation wear and environmental damage. Collectors value the 1910 Lincoln penny for its early placement in the series and strong connection to American history. Circulated examples usually trade between 50 cents and $2, depending on condition. Uncirculated coins with full original luster can range from $25 to $60. The 1910S version is much scarcer and more desirable, often selling between $40 and $150 in mint condition. In rare high-end grades, this coin can fetch significant prices. A 1910 Lincoln penny graded MS67 Red by PCGS sold for over $2,500, while a 1910S in the same grade reached nearly $4,000 at auction. The value jumps even higher when a coin shows strong color or a fully struck portrait. Proof versions, struck only in Philadelphia, were limited to around 4,000 pieces and can command prices from $600 to over $2,000, depending on surface quality. Collectors also seek rare die varieties. The 1910 penny has a few known double die obverse examples, where the word Liberty, or parts of In God We Trust, show clear doubling. These varieties can bring from $100 to $400, and even more in high grades. Another collectible feature is the coin's original red color, which fades over time. Pennies graded as red are far more valuable than brown or red-brown versions due to their preserved copper brilliance. The 1910 Lincoln penny remains a favorite among wheat cent enthusiasts because it bridges the early era of U.S. coin redesign with modern collecting. It represents a time when the mint transitioned from artistic symbolism to honoring real American figures. Owning one connects you to the nation's first circulating coin to depict a U.S. president. Even common examples are worth keeping, especially those with sharp details and even toning. Check for damage-free edges, visible wheat stalks, and legible inscriptions. If you find a coin with full mint luster or any visible doubling, you may be holding a valuable early Lincoln relic. The 1910 penny's charm lies in its mix of history, design, and rarity in high grades. Whether it's a common Philadelphia issue or a scarce San Francisco strike, this coin continues to hold strong collector demand more than a century later. The 1945 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running wheat cent series designed by Victor David Brenner. It was struck at 3 U.S. mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, returning to the traditional bronze composition after the 1943 steel cents and 1944 shell-casing bronze alloy used during World War II. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right, while the reverse displays 2 wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent and United States of America. The design symbolizes strength and prosperity, values deeply connected to the American recovery period after the war. More than 1 billion Lincoln cents were minted in 1945, making it one of the most common issues in the wheat series. Philadelphia produced around 1,040,515,000 coins. Denver, 266,268,000, and San Francisco, 181,700,000. $770,000. Despite the high numbers, finding a pristine example with full luster and sharp strike can be challenging, especially for the Denver and San Francisco issues. In circulated grades, a 1945 penny typically sells between 5 and 20 cents, depending on condition. Uncirculated examples range from $1 to $5, but fully red coins graded MS67 red by PCGS or NGC can bring $250 to $450. The record sale for a 1945 Lincoln cent was a 1945 S graded MS67 plus red that sold for $4,465. Collectors should also look for unique varieties. The most desirable is the 1945 doubled die obverse, where the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear doubled. These errors can range in value from $50 to $300 depending on condition. Another notable collectible is a repunched mint mark variety, especially among the 1945 D and 1945 S coins. These RPMs can bring between $25 and $150 when clearly visible. Though common in lower grades, the 1945 penny stands as a historic piece, symbolizing the final year of World War II. The U.S. Mint used recycled wartime materials for these coins, making each one a tangible connection to a defining moment in American history. Collectors often include it as part of a complete World War II-era Lincoln cent set, which spans from 1941 through 1945. To identify valuable examples, check for strong color and clean surfaces. Red-toned copper coins are most desirable, as exposure to air and moisture causes them to turn brown over time. A coin stored properly since the 1940s can easily exceed average market prices if it maintains full luster. Proof versions were not struck in 1945, as the mint had paused proof coin production during the war years. However, some satin finish coins made for testing or special distribution occasionally surface and are highly collectible. The 1945 Lincoln penny may seem ordinary, but its historical timing, strong design, and potential for rare high-grade finds keep it relevant among collectors. Whether you have a Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco strike, it represents an important chapter in U.S. numismatic history. Owning a 1945 Lincoln cent means holding a small piece of America's post-war recovery period, when the nation celebrated peace and progress. Even a common example carries that legacy, and in pristine condition, it can still bring serious value today. The 1959 Jefferson nickel, also known as the Monticello 5-cent coin, marked a fresh chapter in the series that began in 1938. Struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, this coin carried the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and his Virginia estate, Monticello, which remained on the reverse. The 1959 issue came at the start of a new era for the U.S. Mint, as it refined production methods and introduced a brighter, more modern nickel finish to reflect post-war optimism. The obverse design by Felix Schlag features Jefferson's left-facing profile, surrounded by "In God We Trust" on the left, "Liberty" on the right, and the year 1959 beside it. The reverse depicts Jefferson's Monticello, his neoclassical home, with the inscriptions "E pluribus unum," Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. This balanced design symbolizes both national pride and architectural beauty, capturing the early American ideals Jefferson represented. In 1959, the Philadelphia Mint struck 27,248,000 nickels, while the Denver Mint produced 160,738,240 nickels, identified by the small D mint mark to the right of Monticello. Despite their large mintages, few coins were saved in pristine condition, as circulation wear quickly dulled the nickel's shine. Collectors today often search for examples with sharp steps on Monticello, known as full steps designations, which greatly increase value. A circulated 1959 nickel is usually worth between 10 and 25 cents. Uncirculated examples range from $1 to $10, depending on grade and luster. However, coins with full steps can command serious premiums. A 1959 D. Jefferson nickel graded MS 66 full steps has sold for over $4,000, while a Philadelphia issue in MS 67 full steps once brought more than $5,000 at auction. These coins are rare because sharp, fully struck details on Monticello are hard to find, especially from the Denver Mint. The 1959 nickel also has several interesting varieties and errors. Collectors look for double die reverses, showing doubling on Monticello, or 5 cents, which can bring $100 to $300 in mint condition. There are also a few known off-center strikes and die cracks from worn dies, which attract error coin enthusiasts and can sell for $50 to $200 depending on severity. Unlike silver coins, Jefferson nickels from 1959 contain no silver. They were made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a durable combination that allowed them to survive heavy circulation. The coin's metallic makeup gives it a dull gray color that darkens with age. When found with full luster and minimal marks, it stands out as an excellent collector's piece. The 1959 Jefferson nickel holds historical importance because it marked 2 decades since the series began. It also reflected a turning point in American culture, as the country entered a period of technological advancement and economic expansion. Many of these nickels saw use during an era that shaped modern America, from the early space race to the construction boom of the late 1950s. Proof versions of the 1959 Jefferson nickel were struck at the Philadelphia Mint for collector sets. These proofs feature mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. A proof 1959 nickel-graded PR69 Deep Cameo by PCGS can sell for $150 to $400, with exceptionally preserved examples reaching higher. Though the 1959 nickel may not seem rare at first glance, it offers tremendous collector appeal when found in mint condition. Its clean design, strong historical context, and potential for high-value full steps examples make it a rewarding find. Every time you hold a 1959 Monticello 5-cent coin, you hold a piece of mid-century America. It reminds you of a time of growth and pride, when coins were built to last and designs carried deep meaning. Whether from Philadelphia or Denver, this nickel continues to connect collectors with a proud chapter of U.S. coinage history.
The 1952 D. Lincoln penny stands as a classic example of mid-century American coinage, struck during a period of strong national growth and prosperity. Minted at the Denver Mint, this 1-cent coin carries the enduring design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the symbolic wheat ears on the reverse. Although billions of Lincoln cents were minted across the country during this era, the 1952 D issue has gained collector attention for its consistent quality, variety in toning, and the occasional high-grade survivor that commands impressive value today. The obverse displays Lincoln's right-facing portrait, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," arched above, "Liberty" on the left, and the date, 1952, to the right, followed by a small D mint mark signifying the Denver Mint. The reverse features 2 curved wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent and the legend United States of America, with E pluribus unum centered above. The design reflects both simplicity and symbolism, with the wheat ears representing growth and productivity, ideals central to the American spirit during the 1950s. In 1952, the Denver Mint produced an impressive 746,130,000 Lincoln wheat pennies. While this large mintage kept the coin readily available in circulation for decades, true gems in mint state condition remain scarce due to poor storage, handling,
and heavy usage. Most 1952 pennies found today show signs of wear, dulling the red copper luster that once made them stand out. Collectors value coins that still retain full red color and sharp details, as these examples demonstrate the best preservation of Brenner's classic design. In circulated grades, the 1952 Lincoln penny typically sells for 10 to 25 cents. In higher grades, such as Mint State 65 Red, prices can reach between $10 and $20. Coins graded MS 66 Red may sell from $50 to $100, but exceptional examples with flawless surfaces and rich original color have sold for far more. A PCGS graded MS 67 Red specimen reached an auction record of over $4,600, showing how rare top-quality coins from this issue truly are. The 1952 penny also presents several interesting die varieties and errors. Collectors actively search for repunched mint marks, RPMS, which occur when the D mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions. These varieties can increase a coin's value from a few dollars in lower grades to several $100s in high mint state condition. There are also known die cracks, lamination errors, and off-center strikes from worn or misaligned dies. Depending on visibility and eye appeal, such error coins can fetch $50 to $300. Composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the 1952 Lincoln penny shares the same composition used since the early 20th century. Over time, copper oxidation gives the coin a mix of red, brown, and dark tones. Collectors often use these color grades, red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, to classify and price the coins. A fully red example is always the most desirable, as it shows the coin in its original, untoned brilliance. The 1952 penny was minted during Dwight D. Eisenhower's presidency, a period defined by post-war recovery, suburban growth, and industrial expansion. This coin circulated widely during a time when America's economy and infrastructure were rapidly developing. Holding one today connects you directly to an era of optimism and innovation, when coins carried real meaning in everyday transactions. Even though the 1952 Lincoln penny is common in lower grades, it remains a rewarding find for collectors who value historical context and the challenge of locating superior specimens. The coin's lasting appeal lies in its design, its connection to American heritage, and the hunt for those rare, pristine survivors that showcase full detail and rich color. Each 1952 Lincoln wheat cent reminds collectors of a time when craftsmanship met durability, and every coin carried a sense of purpose. Whether discovered in circulation, a coin roll, or a collector's album, this small copper piece continues to tell the story of America's economic resilience and its deep respect for one of its most influential presidents.